Ever wonder why so many fantasy shows exploded onto our screens after the peak of Game of Thrones? Uh, for nearly a decade, HBO's Epic ruled television, becoming a cultural, um, eh, but with its controversial ending, a void was left. Studios scrambled to create the next big fantasy hit, hoping to capture that same magic. Uh, let's explore the shows that rose to the challenge and how they measured up. Uh, um, the ambition was clear: replicate the complex characters, political intrigue, and breathtaking scale of Game of Thrones. Uh, but simply copying the formula wasn't enough. Um, some shows stumbled, others showed promise, and a few might just have a fighting chance. Um, let's dive in. Um, First up, The Bastard Executioner, released in 2015 at the height of Goatee's popularity. It leaned heavily into the gritty violence and historical setting. It aimed for a similar dark tone, but critics found it derivative and lacking a compelling story. It was quickly canceled after one season. Um, Next, Netflix took a swing with Marco Polo, and set in the Mongolian Empire. It had the potential for political maneuvering and adventure. And while it garnered a dedicated fan base, the show's massive budget couldn't justify its viewership, leading to its cancellation and a $200 million loss. The Last Kingdom fared better, to more historically accurate than many fantasy shows. It delivered complex political storytelling, action, and a touch of the supernatural. Um, it's considered one of the more successful attempts, though it never quite reached Game of Thrones' cultural impact. Amazon Prime Video entered the arena with The Wheel of Time, based on the popular book series Pseudo. While visually impressive, the show struggled to find its footing and was canceled after 3 seasons, despite initial high expectations. So the costs simply outweighed the returns. The Witcher also aimed for that Game of Thrones magic, um, based on the popular books and video games. It had a strong foundation. Uh, However, its attempts to emulate the political complexities of GOT felt forced, hindering its potential aid. Additionally, 5 seasons weren't enough to save it, weren't enough uh, to say that The Expanse is a bit of a wild card. While primarily sci-fi, its focus on complex characters, political factions, and large-scale conflicts shares similarities with Game of Thrones. It's the high-quality show, but never achieved the same widespread recognition. Black Sails is an underrated gem. Uh, a prequel to Treasure Island, it offered a gritty, realistic portrayal of piracy with complex characters and political intrigue. Its quality wasn't enough to break through the noise and reach a wider audience. That The Ascent says seven. Uh, Amazon doubled down with the Lord of the Rings of Power, right? Uh, uh, Boasting a massive budget, it aimed to capture the epic scale of Game of Thrones. And while visually stunning, it's still finding its footing, but has the potential to become a true successor. And finally, HBO's own House of the Dragon, a prequel to Game of Thrones, focusing on the Targaryen dynasty. It's the most direct attempt to recapture the magic. It shares the same DNA, political intrigue, complex characters, and dragons, and is well on its way to becoming the next big fantasy hit. Um, so, which show will ultimately fill the throne? Um, Only time will tell. Uh, but one thing's for sure is the famous for the next Game of Thrones is far from over. Like even recently, um, you know, trying to copy Game of Thrones is a bit like trying to train a dragon. A lot of fire, a lot of expense, and a high chance to be eventual essential courses, and then see all of the level. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, let's take a look at this.